Can you see my pants?
You're on! Surprise, everybody! You wouldn't possibly...
Bear with us.
Yeah, you wouldn't possibly think we're not having technical difficulties. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. We have tried so hard to get it the other way so that we could use the better camera.
Turn the camera sideways.
And
it doesn't work.
Yeah, as soon as I touch it, it automatically flips this way.
Bear with us.
Yeah, we're having to adjust.
Trying to get the screenshot right. Okay.
I'm going to need you to adjust here and kind of maneuver along. Hello.
Now I want to try to see us live, I guess.
We're going to try to see us live to see what it looks like.
Does this so we can talk to you guys.
Yeah, it all moves. You can do whatever you need to do, babe.
If anything. Okay, here we are. Oh my Lord, close. Close.
Closer.
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 Oh, well.
Real live stuff.
Hi. Hi, Rebecca.
We changed our shirts, but not our pants.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my gosh.
Hi, Rebecca. Sorry. There's delay on here. How can I keep the sound down?
Yeah, you just turn the sound down.
Okay. So are we nice and close?
Yeah, this is what it looks like right here. Maybe tip it back so it's a little up.
More. Like that?
Up.
Up higher.
That's
a little more.
A little more. It's a delay. All right.
Rachel Hazlitt said up close and personal. Yes.
Yes.
See, I thought I was going to get away with just my shirt and just have my sweatpants on, but you couldn't tell. So here we are.
Here we are.
Live and raw and real.
It's good.
How do we look? Okay, this is good enough.
All right. We're up.
We're good.
We're good.
Thank you,
baby.
Rachel. She likes the chairs and the new background. We thought we would try something different this time.
And of course, I wanted to do 4.
Talking to the
I'm looking at this camera. I wanted to do 4 weeks in a row since we're going to be on Marriage for 4 times with the same backdrop, and then change the backdrop for 4 more times. But the boss wins. So this is going to be a different one for us because we have turned the camera around so that we actually are using the better camera to see. So we look even prettier, a little less grainy. Hopefully that's the story. But when we do that, we can't see any of your comments. We can't see our face. So
that's why I'm looking on here on my phone so I can see the comments. Like, thank you. We're getting a looking good. Y'all are cute. Yay.
It's a little delay. There, the phone just popped up on there.
And it's distracting because it's a delay. So can you guys see our This Is Us Marriage above our head there? See, we're trying to get crafty and do a little bit each week towards our vision and our dream, which is empowering you guys and giving you tools that we have learned. Not that we know everything, but we have a powerful marriage, a lot of gifts in our marriage, so we want to expand beyond our reach, which, technology is amazing that we can get to all of you people and share, and you guys. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yes, it was like 40-something times on the last video.
And doing this.
Instead of the
That was amazing last time.
Yes. We don't know if it works any better or not, but I think there was like 3,300 views, which, is just amazing.
Yeah, it was 3.4 thousand on our last one and 3.8 on the one before that. So that was super exciting. It's been blowing us away.
Totally.
Again, it's not like we're celebrities. I know they have like millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views, but to us, it's super exciting to be able to reach all these people because you never know who is hurting in their marriage, in their relationships. And we've heard from even single people that this has been helping them in whatever capacity they're in. So that's been a gift.
Getting them geared up for when they have a mate.
Yeah. And, just, I'm going to say share it anyways. Just sharing it because you never know, even though you think somebody's marriage is well, just like with the Kate Spade unfortunate situation that happened with her. They're saying you never know where people are at. So you never know where people are at in their marriage, even though it may look great. So I just want to commend all of you guys for tuning in and making the investment into your marriage and not saying I know it all or, oh, you know, it doesn't mean it has to be an awful marriage for you to listen to these. We can always be learning more.
You will be always learning more.
We learn from ourselves. I mean, it doesn't get old. It's always, it's simple. It's the same things, but we always need to keep it fresh.
Yes.
And remind ourselves of these things. So it's been good for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's real practical. You know, it's practical. You can apply it tonight or while you're watching, you know, or while you're watching this or sharing it or liking it or whatever is going on. It's practical, applicable. Right now you can do it. And this week, tonight, you can, you know, have a better marriage and get it heading in that direction. Because once you have the steps and the tools, then you can start making that progress heading in the right direction. And when you're equipped with the tools to do it, it's a whole lot easier to dig a ditch when you have a shovel. You can dig a ditch with your hand, but it's going to be a rough one. You feel me?
Yeah, we wanted to say real quick, I don't know if she hopped on yet or not, but should we do the giveaway?
Yeah.
We wanted to let you guys know, for those of you that tuned in last week, we had this that you know is not going to make it in my house. So we said we were going to do a giveaway. So those of you that are interested in who won the giveaway, it is... You say.
You say.
You say.
Vanetta!
Vanetta, you won. Yes. Yay. So I will be giving this to you out of my house. Yay.
Yes, we'll get it to you. And we had the best one to set up something for Roll Tide, the best little emoji setup or whatever. And she had a big wave.
No, it's
the roller coaster for the roll, and then a wave for the tide, and then another roller coaster. Roll Tide, roll!
Yes.
Yes.
That was good.
That was awesome. So
Jason says War Eagle.
I get it. I get it. I totally do. Let's jump
Fallon,
in.
I love seeing Fallon on here.
Yeah.
Thanks
Winners.
for cheering us on, everybody. It's super encouraging, and the people that have sent us Facebook inboxes and just saying how much it's helped you already, that brings us encouragement to keep going after our dreams, because this is definitely one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this doesn't just happen. We just had a little panic attack just 5 minutes ago before it started. Each Tuesday, it's one
nervous energy right before. It's like, 5 minutes. So this is not easy for us. Just like your passions aren't easy for you. We always have to overcome fear, right?
Following your dreams.
Right. And being raw and real and making mistakes, because this is live and you don't get to go back and change that. That's being very vulnerable, especially for somebody that likes things to be perfect and just right. So really have to let all that go in order to do this. But that just goes to show you how much we love and care about you guys, that we are willing to look silly, like that last little clip that we had of me pointing the finger and making like this ugly face. I was like, don't we always want to look so pretty and have the perfect little shot?
Baby, you are always pretty.
Yeah.
You're always pretty.
And I was like, you know what? I want it with the finger on there. I think it's funny. I'm just going to not be vain and go with it. So, anyways.
We'll jump right in.
Yeah.
Enough chatter. We don't try to bore anybody. We just give a few minutes of time and talk about ourselves before we jump in case anybody gets on live and, you know, they're taking a couple minutes to get there. And so
encouraging you to go after your dreams and letting you know that this is not easy for us. Because don't we always make up stories in our head and you can think, that's just easy for them. No big deal, and this is not easy for us. So we're just communicating that to you and letting you know it's not
whining, just communicating. Yeah. We're showing up. We're going for it. So that's part of the deal. You got to be brave and jump, all right? Got to jump.
Yeah, and not be critical of yourself. Like, does everybody hate their voice, or is it just me? Is it just him? When you listen to yourself,
or Paul when you're making fun of me, or John when you're making fun of me.
When you listen to yourself. You're like, oh, my voice. I don't even want to go back and listen to it.
Oh, it's so awesome. Humans, very, very funny. They're funny.
Hi, Paula. People. My papa.
Papa.
Love you.
Hello from Florida.
Yeah. So we're talking about communication today.
Yes, communication and trigger points, which go hand in hand, like peas in a pod. Yep. Trigger points. You want to start?
Well, you
want to start?
Well, I have a couple of notes because he's more the chatter and I'm more just hit points. And one of the main things in communicating is to be truthful. And a lot of us have a hard time being truthful.
It's huge.
But when we are truthful and we actually have those hard conversations, we are stepping into more deeper intimacy. A lot of us want to avoid it, but what you're avoiding is intimacy. And then you're craving that intimacy, wondering why you don't have intimacy, and it's because you're not having these conversations.
Yes, the last couple of weeks that we've been talking about, all of those things require brave communication and for you to dialogue with each other. When typically the women want to talk and the guys don't, and then sometimes when the guys want to talk, the women don't. And so having the time where we're dialoguing is vitally important to actually do it, to have the conversations, find out the things that you're dealing with the pointing and, the things that we've been talking about before and being on the team, the same team, not opposing teams.
I would love to hear or see on the comments below, any of you that have listened to our past couple of ones, have you already used any of the tools that we've said or caught yourself good. In the moment going for something, say the finger pointing and realizing that's pointless, or have you approached a conversation and with the attitude of team?
Yeah.
No
winner, no loser.
Yeah, we would love to hear that. And even the people that comment on the thread, just to remember, nobody's judging you. Everybody is getting encouragement from each other, even beyond what we're saying here underneath. Encouraging one another that they're not alone and everybody's not perfect.
Totally. And when you really get to experience grace with each other like that, you get to find out that nobody's really perfect. So everybody's on the same page and on the same field, just trying to learn, trying to gather tools, trying to gather information to better your marriage, better your parenting, better your life, better yourself. Self-love and self-care is huge. And when we're not truthful in the conversations, we're not really loving ourselves very well or our spouse because we're not telling the truth. And that's
healthy relationships have healthy conversations.
Yes.
And a lot of us didn't grow up in healthy relationships or see that modeled well. I know that I didn't. So then we come into a marriage relationship, and now all of a sudden we have to have all these hard, deep conversations and do life together and do it well. And most of us don't know. So what we do
Never seen it happen before. We hear about somebody having great conversations and great marriages, but we've never seen it modeled. So
what we do is we pick up our weapons and we fight with our weapons. You guys like this? This is my Chinese star.
You know where that came from. You know where this came from.
That's
man Noah.
So we have all these weapons that we use, and the weapon could be your mouth. How many times have you heard it's not what you say, it's how you say it? That is distracting. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yes.
Your tone.
Weapons.
And then getting loud in the argument. That's another weapon that we use, a fear tactic. And so, you got one? So the word is to lay down your weapons, because when we feel like we have to protect ourselves, as soon as things start escalating, we pull out all of our weapons that we have. You have 2 weapons, I only have 1. I got my fist.
And what happens is you might think they're small. These words are small. Calling her the B word is small. Calling her different names and making her feel small. You think they're small, but they pack a punch and they will ruin your day. This thing might be small, but it's got a 22 Magnum. It will ruin your day. And that's what we do with our words, and we don't even realize it. We think they're not a big deal, but they're huge. And what happens is they're like arrows, and so every time you speak something, you're shooting the arrow at your spouse, and then everybody says, "I'm sorry," and you go and pull the arrow out, so now you're taking it back, but you left a big hole and scar and your partner's bleeding. They mean a lot. Words and how they're said are huge.
And then you get desensitized to it to a certain degree, and then
normal.
then that doesn't, first it's maybe yelling, then it's name calling, and then it might start getting physical, or then I need to put you down in front of other people.
You've never done that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see it modeled well growing up. I grew up in an alcoholic family, and there was a lot of abuse in my family. So, we learn how to handle conflict and how to communicate by watching other people. And so even though I knew that obviously didn't seem like the healthy thing to do, I didn't know what to do instead. All I had seen were all the weapons.
And you know who else sees the weapons? Your kids.
But I never saw any tools. It was always weapons. So it was like, oh, we're communicating, we're having conflict, I need to bring my weapons out. Because I had never seen any tools.
Yes.
So what you want to do is put your weapons down and get your tools out. Don't you guys love my props? I love props. These are
Prop
visuals
queen.
that you'll remember. Yeah,
Yes.
just to drive the point home. And sometimes it feels funny at first because, he would irritate me, and it just seemed like the right thing to do. If you're going to call me names, then I'm going to punch you or jump on you or do something. I'm going to start defending myself.
And you see that little teeny fist? So funny when he used to beat me up.
So I had to on purpose start reading books and listening to things and learn how to control myself and know that you're not allowed. Just because you're angry doesn't mean you're allowed to physically hurt somebody.
We're talking about throwing keys across the room, throwing pans across the room, stuck a fork in my chest one night. Like, she's talking from where she's been. So I hope you understand that we're not talking about something that we read out of a book.
Yeah.
Like, it was real life stuff.
I had to on purpose learn how to calm myself down, give myself a time out.
Count to 10.
Yeah, count
She'd
to
go
10,
into the
use
other
different
room.
tools. And then come and sit down and hold hands. We're going to hold hands because it's hard to argue when you're holding hands.
Yes, there's something about touch.
Yeah.
Because we're on the same team. Even when we're yelling at each other, trying to use self-control, this touching really makes a big deal. It's hard to yell at your teammate when you're touching. And just get naked if you need to. Touch naked. Make it awkward so the words come down. I am totally being serious.
We know you're serious. Anyways, remember, it's simple. This is not difficult. It's not rocket science. It's just, if you could do these two things, keep your tone down. Keep your tone down. Keep your tone down. And not call each other names. Just those two things alone.
Will change your whole life.
Yes, huge.
Change everything.
Remember, we're not here showing up with all this super wisdom. It's the simple things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff that's worked in our marriage. Because we came through hell. We came through the school of hard knocks. We've been there. We've done that. We've had the long dragouts, the names, the everything you can come up with. And these little tools along the way instead of weapons. Because with tools, you can start to build something. Weapons protect or destroy. And when we're using them at each other, we're trying to destroy each other. And we're literally destroying our marriage from the foundations. Because we have all these holes and wounds in each other that we say we're sorry about every night, every morning, and then get back up and do it again. And so the tools will start to build and you'll start to build a good relationship and build connection and build intimacy with the right tools.
And what the word I had was lay down your weapons to pick up your tools.
Boom.
Lay down your weapons to pick up your tools. Next time you catch yourself when you're in conflict picking up weapons, just be like, oh, I'm going to pick up a weapon right now. I need to pick up a tool. And safety is the key. This is fire too. People put weapons down when they feel safe. That's good right there.
That's good.
People put their weapons down when they feel safe. And if you're not feeling safe in your marriage, you need to make some changes. And a lot of times you don't feel safe because the times when you are laying your heart out there in your communication,
being vulnerable,
and you give your heart to that person and lay it out there, they're bringing their weapons still. And so then you're like, oh, I saw what happened last time I brought my heart out before you. And then, so I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to bring the weapon. So if it's back to having that same conversation of we're on the same team, we're not blaming each other.
Say these things.
Yeah.
Say them. Say them. Don't think them. Say them.
Get new tools. Don't get stuck in your default settings. Learn new tools, which that's what you guys are doing. Again, totally. I commend you guys for watching, showing up, putting in the time and energy, because there are so many things out there. Really, we don't have the excuse of, well, we didn't see it. Because we can make the change. We don't have to stay where we're at, and it doesn't have to stay the way it's been.
You don't want it to stay the way it's been, even if you have a good marriage. We have a great marriage, and I want it to be better next week. Like, there's just a continual hunger to build on what you've been building on already and keep it growing and keep it expanding, because you grow some, and then that becomes your new norm. And then you grow some, and then that becomes your new norm. So we're always looking for the next spot to go to, which requires a little bit of effort, some time, some application, listening to us ramble on here, you know, doing other podcasts, reading books on marriage, self-help, positive thinking, positive everything. You know, it's the way it goes. And you build and you pull yourself out. You build a great family.
When there's an elephant in the room, introduce him. A lot of times you're lacking intimacy because there's an elephant in the room. Roll Tide. I had to say it. But we're not wanting to have those conversations. There's the elephant in between us, and we're wondering why there's disconnect.
Why we feel like we're not on the same team. Because we're not being truthful.
Yeah, because we're scared to have the conversation. So you want intimacy, then you maybe turn to other things for intimacy. Maybe a wife might turn to her children for more time and more love from them because they cherish her and have unconditional love for her that maybe she's not getting from her husband. And maybe the husband is turning to work, you know, other things to fulfill
or worse.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah. We know how that goes. Yep.
Yeah, right, and I'm going to say don't text hard conversations. With this technology day and age, I saw this. I thought it was really interesting that communication is 7% words, 38% tone. I can't tell you how many times growing up my mom said, it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. Oh, man, she got the eyeball roll for that one, for sure, over and over and over. But I get it. As an adult, for sure, I get it.
Totally.
38% tone, 55% body language. So we've lost 93% of the tools to help the tools to help us communicate when we're doing it through texting. And if you're saying, oh, well, it helps me because I can write it all out and the person doesn't interrupt me, then just make your notes on a piece of paper.
Which is me.
Yeah, because those hard conversations, when you're not doing it in person, for instance, you want to share that one where I love to share that one where I was all attitude.
Let it rip.
No, you share.
No, you. No, you.
Okay, so anyways, I don't even remember. It was so long ago, but I was having an attitude problem. And I wasn't feeling very connected.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. And so what he did in the moment was came over to me and just gave me a hug, even though that felt like the last thing that I wanted in that moment. But he just continued to sit there and hold me and hold me. And then I felt myself kind of just release whatever that agitation was.
Simmer down.
Yeah. So that was really powerful in the moment. And if we would have been trying to do that over technology, we would be missing those aspects.
Yeah.
Or say you say something to somebody over technology and you don't see the tears that start to come up in their eyes based on whatever you said. And so you don't realize how that just affected their heart.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, not to text tough conversations. I see it more and more, and I'm just like, wow, they're missing out on a lot of opportunity there. It's really too heavy to have that over technology. So I encourage you guys to not do that either. That's a great tool. We want body language. We want the opportunity to go hold the person when they're sharing. I know, you just want me to touch you.
I know.
They're sharing. So,
yes.
Anyways, that's what I had to say. That's basically lay down your weapons to pick up your tools. If you don't get anything at all, lay down your weapons to pick up your tools. And safety is key. People put weapons down when they feel safe. Are you creating a safe place in your marriage when each one of you are sharing your heart?
I can't tell how long it's been.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's been.
We want to jump right into triggers. We don't want them to be super long, but we want to get the topic across. So this communication, being brave and truthful, jumping right into triggers. Triggers are like, they're trigger points that when something happens that's very small, it like super hyper crazy, super duper does something to the other person, and it makes them go ballistic, even though what you did was nothing. That's called a trigger point. Like when somebody says hi the wrong way and you flip out because your last spouse, had an issue with saying hi the wrong way. So the trigger just got set off because of past baggage. So look at it like this, like each person comes into a relationship with baggage behind them. And when something happens in the relationship through communication and it typically not being the right way, it triggers something and it opens up one of the bags and all the little goodies come out of the bag. And it's like, and you're like, but I just didn't take the trash out, and you want a divorce because I've never done anything right my entire life since I was born. And you're pulling baggage out of all your past relationships and dumping it into this one, which is actually taking your past and ruining what you have right now. And since right now is our life, right now is our meditation, right this very second is the most important thing that you can be doing, is right this second, whatever that second is. So trigger points come, and having the conversations about them instead of flipping out, or flipping out and then having the conversation. Remember, we're on the same team, but I'm just going to use this analogy. When Alabama is getting ready to play another team, they sit for hours and hours and hours and they study the other team. They study the other team. They study what they're doing. They study how they're doing it. That way, when they're in the game, they see something that looks the same and they automatically know what's going to happen, so they know how to play. So imagine you're on the same team and you're studying your other half of the team, and when you don't take the trash out, they flip out. So what happens is this. Your body language communicated, the trash wasn't that important tonight. I was too busy. I forgot. I lost track of time. I didn't know it was the right day. And to them, it's saying you are useless and you're never going to amount to anything your whole entire life. I might as well divorce you now like everybody else. Two different things were communicated, right? So when we're studying the play of the team, after that crazy thing happens, you have this truthful conversation. Babe, you wigged out about me not taking out the trash. I want to apologize for that. And I also want to discuss the trigger point. I want to discuss it. So we're going to team play here, and we're going to find out, okay, this is what Nimrod did back when I was married to him. And so you're finding out, and what you're doing is you're actually pulling the trash out of the baggage. You're pulling the trash out of the baggage, and eventually the bag is going to be empty, and so you can just cut that bag off. And that will be cutting these triggers off, which flare up. You guys know what I'm talking about when something happens and you just take it to the next level.
Yeah, and you make up a big story in your head on
Totally.
whatever that action meant. For instance, when we had Gianna, and there's, for those of you that have babies, you have these like bottles all over the place. And so it was like always this thing about cleaning out the bottles. There was always bottles to be cleaned. And so I noticed one day, like, I just kept meditating over and over how irritated I was about him leaving the bottles in the sink. I felt like he's leaving those bottles there because he is trying to tell me to do it. Like, he's not going to do it. He's telling me to do it by leaving it there. And so I was so irritated all day long, and I just kept thinking about it, and I was so mad. And then I just caught myself like, man, he has no idea the case that I am building over here against him in my head.
Yeah.
And these stories that I've created, when really our day just looks the same as any other day. And it's not fair to him for me to build on these stories and not communicate to him,
right,
hey, I'm sitting over here irritated with you because when you leave the bottles in the sink, what I hear you saying,
right,
because action is communication.
Totally.
Silence is communication.
Totally.
So by your action of leaving the bottles in the sink, I'm hearing you say, you do it. And that is very irritating.
So we had the conversation and
Yeah.
I never left the bottle again. But you see...
Or he got at least the opportunity to say, no, that's not my heart.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was 4 a.m, I was tired, I left the bottle.
That's...
whatever it might have been. But the communication there through the trigger points, the stories we make up in our head that are untruthful, that's all communication.
Yeah.
Building a case against your partner, getting ready to pull out those weapons and lay it down. Those are what we're doing instead of communicating freely and communicating truthfully. Hey, when you leave the bottles, it's annoying.
Paula said she plays cat box chicken. I don't know what that is. I'd like to hear more about that. Cat box chicken. What is that? Hopefully it's something we could do too. Cat box chicken. Like changing the cat box, the litter box. Like who's going to do that? That's probably what it is.
See, we're making up stories. We're making up stories about what it is.
Yeah. Or for instance, I had a situation with a previous boyfriend that Rachel put it on here about mine being the laundry. And one time he got really irritated and he started throwing the laundry at my head and yelling at me for not doing the laundry. And so obviously this was a sensitive topic later. That was that baggage he was talking about. So the first time he had conversation with me about laundry, it was like, oh,
yeah. It was like, could you press this a little different or put this one on a hanger so it wouldn't
You're not
wrinkle?
going to say anything to me about your laundry. If you want something done with your laundry that you don't like the way I'm doing it, feel free to do it yourself.
She went off.
So yeah, there was definitely a trigger point with that. But it's just caring enough to investigate, why am I getting so angry? Why is it such a big deal? And digging deeper with that. And,
taking the trash out, getting rid of the baggage. It's key. Because again, we want tools, and these are tools to not avoid the trigger points and not avoid the trash. So many times we avoid things trying to not have something happen. Wouldn't it be nice just to take all the trash out, and then you can just be you and she can be her, and you guys can gel and have rhythm together, and it's beautiful because we're building and stacking on top of
with our tools. We're building with our tools, not using our weapons.
Scary.
Yeah.
She's scary, isn't she? What do you think about if we do questions for the fourth one on marriage? Like they can post questions on here.
What do you guys think about that? You guys want to do like where you guys post questions down on the thread
on this
here?
thread on this one.
Yeah, on this one. And then we'll address your questions on next Tuesday night. Let us know what you think about that idea.
Let's see.
For the next.
I know it's going to be a little pause, but let's see if we can see. We got one yes.
Oh, I see. We're doing some of these. I love this. Yes.
Yeah, and if you'll put up on the top, if you go to like, I don't remember exactly where it is. I will figure it out by the next time, and hit.
Oh yeah, the see first.
See first. It'll let our things come up, and then you can put. Also on the top, there's something you can check. You have to be on your regular computer to get notifications, and that way you can see the posts that we put up from This Is Us, and then see the notifications and actually see the page, because our church page has like 6,000 likes, but if I post something on there, like 250 or 350 people actually see it, because you have to go on there and click show or see first for you to actually see it, unless you go to our wall. Good old algorithms.
We're learning new stuff every day, so we'll put it in the comments below for those of you that don't know how to do it.
Okay, yes question. Okay, we're gonna do it. This is spontaneous because it's live. Okay, if you're watching and if you come in onto the replay, it's totally fine. Just put your questions down in the thread, and obviously share these things out. If they have questions, then they can get them in the thread as well.
Yeah.
And we will write every single one down, even if there's 500, and we'll group them together, and we'll try to address the majority of, each individual one might not be hit, but some of them will be in groups. And please do us a favor and just make it about marriage. These are just marriage questions, because we're going to do a full month on parenting. Yeah. We're going to do a full month on
boundaries. I'd like to touch on boundaries.
So we'll be hitting these things. Family, whatever you're looking for, we want to be able to offer. But this specific one, this will be number 4 of the marriage. And so just keep the questions about marriage. Yeah, I ramble. I said a whole lot to say that, right? Welcome to my world. This is us.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right, you got anything else, Irod?
Can we just ask you a messenger and you answer so that everyone doesn't know the question and others' problems?
Of course.
I think that's fine, yeah.
Totally fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. And we're not, just so we're clear on this as well, we're not going to be saying, hey, this question is from Jim Bob from Hawaii, and we're going to answer it. We're just going to say, these were the questions, and here's our response. So you don't necessarily have to worry about anybody knowing, but feel free to message us. Feel free to, use the messenger or whatever. It's typically how we do it anyway. So it won't be anything new there. But if you want it to be out for other people to see as well, again, no names, we'll be able to do that. And that's what we'll do for number 4. So we're looking forward to that.
We love you guys. Awesome. We really appreciate you tuning in, and we appreciate the encouragement, and we appreciate you guys doing this and
spreading it around.
Oh yeah, that's a good word. That's a good word.
Even if you're spreading it, you're spreading the love onto others' walls and so on and so forth, specifically in Messenger sometimes too. If you have a couple thousand people or 500 friends, even if one of them watches it and gets something out of it, it was worth the share and the little whatever you write on the top, or just the share. So spread it around.
Spread the good news.
Spread it around.
And remember to put in the, either inbox us or put it in the thread below if you've used any of these tools or caught yourself using any of it, because it brings us encouragement. You don't have to lie or anything, but I'd love to know if you used it in your week and maybe how it changed your conversation.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
We love you guys.
Love you guys. You're awesome. We believe in you.
This is us. Going after our dreams. Go after your dreams. Don't let fear stop you. If we can sit up here and do this, you can do what you need to do. Love you guys.
Let me see if we can finish it.
In spite of my sweatpants.
Got 'em.